this is, oh, thank you, Carrie. I thought it was interesting, like, wow, this is more fear of not knowing, fear of open space, fear of no ground, fear of falling into the abyss, into then what somebody might call death or dissolving egoic self. There's all kinds of language. You get what I mean, though? These different notes, these different flavors, these different tones. We could all be sommeliers, then, couldn't we? Smelling the bouquet of this kind of fear. And so there have been some teachings on three kinds of fear, three unique kinds of fear. And I thought we would do a practice today to make a little contact so that you could begin to know, oh, this is fear of insufficiency. No, this one's fear of not knowing. No, this is fear of dissolving, not being enough, not being what I believe I should, would, want, need to be. And I noticed all of them. I didn't like one more than the other. I didn't have a particular preference. It wasn't like, oh, that fear, that's workable. Nope, not at all. I didn't really like any of them at any time. They all put metal, I call it paste, in my mouth, and they were all invaluable. So I'm going to stop there. Invaluable. Why? Invaluable. I hear somebody on why. Invaluable.
Life lessons.
Yeah. Fear is the path, we could say. Fear is not the problem. Can somebody write that down? Maybe put it on a t shirt or sticker. Fear is the path. Fear is not the problem. We forget, don't we? And so then instead of our essential always practice of turning towards the sharp edge, the tiger, often invisible, what do? Structure, coping, egoic, right, arisings. We do something else. And my teacher said this by itself is a fabricated false life and will never bring you happiness, joy, ease, or well being. I have noticed that it is true. Now, turning towards fear, by the way, is quite enlivening. You are not deadened. You are not disconnected. You are not asleep. You are very awake, very present, right here in the moment, probably ready to throw up if you're really allowing your full experience. And it's beautiful. But we don't want to tolerate the unpleasantness of fear, even though, says the Buddha, it is our primary, this is a hard for us to get, instruction. It is the primary instruction. It is exactly the place you belong. Isn't this exactly where you are supposed to be? You are not supposed to be tra la lying in bliss or ease. It is not that this is not possible or available. It's not true. It is possible and available, however, only then when, as we turn towards, we are no longer running away from the Dharma, the truth of our life, the beauty, really, the beauty of our humanness, the tender spots. Mm-hmm. Chogyam says the softness that is the result of the warrior's nature. You do not take on more armor, you let it go, don't you? And consequently are free. This is the path. We're spending a lot of time, I'm noticing, in myself and in others, using our practice to get somewhere else. Mm-mm, mm-mm. And it can't ever, will never truly work. And so we don't waste our time, do we? We don't. And if I hear one more person say, I'm just not getting much ease from this, I will scream. It's just not working out for me because I don't know. I feel the jittery. I feel the grip. I feel the choke. I feel the tightness. I recognize the don't know. I recognize the I don't know. I think I'm supposed to be in a better place. I don't think this is where, if I was really getting this right, or if the teachings were right, or if that teacher could only get it together, then I'd feel better. And the answer is yes, you can, and no, not that one. Right. And so we're going to talk about the three layers, we'll call them, right? Because fear ultimately comes in what? Infinite, sometimes indescribable form, right? So they were just trying to maybe make them a little simplistic, a little simpler. Anything to say about this? Does everybody know what I'm talking about? Is there anybody who's not getting this? And we're going to have to learn how to stop this idea of feeling failed, then, aren't we? Remember, we talked about like turning into failure, that this path is guaranteed in some way to be a continuous, never ending act of failure. Because what? We just don't think we should feel this. If I believed enough, if I had enough faith, if I practiced enough, if I had the right partner, if I had the right garden, if I could only have planted that tomato, not this tomato, somebody, right, then I could somehow avoid this. Except then that you are avoiding, according to my teacher, the whole of life, the preciousness actually of it, and that we are turning away. As we turn away from fear, we do not then cultivate any capacity for holding ourselves in our humanness, our tenderness, and then for sure holding others. We're lost. And we can rest in that. It is the path to rest right there. That feeling of, I've been looking in all the wrong places. No, he knows it's time. Practice. You're so smart. You are so smart. Was it my voice? What happened? So I'm going to name, just name, because we're going to practice them, the three levels of fear. And remember, not correct, simplified. If you could think of this as 3 points on the continuum, it would be a better understanding than, is it this fear or that fear? Let's not do that, right? We won't rigidify or simplify or just make solid. This is just for understanding. And so the first fear is the fear of groundlessness. Groundlessness. Somebody might say a fear of not being, a fear of not being enough, maybe, a fear of not having something solid, stable. What else do we look for? Pleasant. Everybody get this idea? Groundlessness, one of the first fears, the fear of groundlessness. I think we could summarize this then maybe as simply the fear of change. Couldn't we? Just everything in constant movement all the time, and everybody's going, but I didn't want that. I want this to stay. I want this to work. I want it to be solid. I want to keep it. I want it to be better. So could we just then maybe in our 21st century vernacular just say simply the fear of change? Maybe a little easier to hold then groundlessness. But Shogam would say the fear of groundlessness. The Buddha would say the fear of impermanence. Then would all be the same. Can everybody feel the sameness? Slightly different angles, but right. Buddha would say impermanence. Um, Ezra Beta would say the fear of not identity, the fear of ego loss. So that would be number one. The other fear, then, the fear of open space, which is what we run into, by the way, when we can't find something to hang on to, isn't it? So when you go, things just keep changing. I have nowhere to, no handles, no babysitter system, nothing to hold on to. Then the very next thing we confront is the fear of open space. In our Western psychology, we might call that the fear of dissolution, the fear of ego, death, happens in psilocybin journeys for those of you who have had that experience, right? This just falling away of self. Um, the Buddha would say anatta, anatta, the fear of non-being, the fear of self. Everybody get this idea? Ezra Beta says the fear of facing your feelings. I kind of like that too. The fear of facing your feelings. That we don't like this part of who we are. We don't really want to be with that. And we'll spend a lot of time, money, energy, trying to look some other way. When in fact, we're all, if we allow the truth, tender, soft, vulnerable, and fearful, right? Just the fear of facing the truth of this. So that would be number two. We're going to use Ezra's perspective, and I will send out the article he wrote called The Three Things We Fear Most, right? And it's in my materials for the MBSR class because I thought it was such an essential teaching. Well, Chogyam thought so too. The Buddha thought so too, right? Because he also named impermanence and the attempt to solidify a self or the fear of non-self as two primary causes of fear. Coming together a little, starting to make some contact with this. Chogyam called it open space. Ezra called it feeling unwanted feelings. The Buddha called it non-self, the fear of non-self. And then the final that we'll investigate today is the fear of death. Chogyam calls it egolessness in the chapters. Anybody remember that? Egolessness. Ezra might say simply the fear of dying, not being, non-being, and Buddha, what would he say? I have to think about it. Anicca, anatta, the fear of loss of self, the fear of not being, the fear of not being. And if you then think about your own fear, I'd like you to take a minute as I prepare. If you think about a recent uncertainty, a recent confusion, a recent grip, we're going to work with that. So reflect for a moment as I set up, because likely that fear will fit into one or all, right, of these categories. I believe ultimately they're interconnected, aren't they? Can't you, when you hear one, you go, whoa, that's just like that. No ground is like nothing to hold, which is like not me, which is like dying, which is like, right? You just go, they all seem related to me. I think so too. I think so too. So I don't want us to get mind twizzled, which is like, is this that one? Because I think they're more the same. And then the one other moment, why fear? Couldn't we talk about something more pleasant? Really? Like, why fear? Because if we don't talk about it, we won't look at it. And if we don't look at it, we can't know it. And if we don't know it, we can't be free. Okay? So as you're sitting here going, it wasn't exactly the topic I most wanted to go over today, seriously, because then I'm going to the party and I was hoping I would just be joyful at that. And the teachings say the only way to that joy, truly, is to know that you are capable, to know that this fear is not yours, that you are not limited by this tight belly, this squeeze, that you are that which has the infinite, whole, ongoing, forever, beyond lifetimes, it says, not just in this human incarnation, but in every incarnation, to be happy, joyful, easeful, and free. And we call that what? Mindfulness, awareness, right? You are that. And so we're going to bring that to the uh, table. Okay. So be careful. One of the things people mistakenly do in this practice is collapse themselves into the identity of the fearful one, when in fact, you are not that. You are that which knows it, can hold it, and know that you are bigger. I can hold even this in me, and then more expanded, even I can hold this in all beings because it's not different. It's all the same. Okay? Thank you. And so let's prepare to sit. And we're just going to sit in a way that invites a kind of settledness, a little ease. There's nothing to get rid of here. You don't have to try to loosen that little grip if it's there. In talking about fear, we make contact with some aspect of that truth, of that tenderness or that vulnerability. And there's nothing to get rid of. I want you to feel the sense that the body itself, even with that little grip, that little contractedness, itself can settle. Not just with it, but around it. It can be a holder, a knower of all experience, even with the grip. And so we bring primary attention to the out breath. Remembering that all things that arise, including fear, also pass. We create space and room and warmth. And we do so for ourselves and for all beings. And so taking a few moments to simply rest in this body, being human, And then grounding, feeling the felt sense of the whole of the body. And then as we breathe out, just making light touch contact with the bottoms of the feet. Feeling the stability of the earth. And with the next breath, breathing into the area of the seat, this Dharma seat that has been created for you. And in this practice, we fully take our seats, inviting the whole body to be present here. And then feeling the aliveness, the energy, the vitality of this human life right here in the area of the hands, their warmth, their vibration, the pulsing of life right here. And then settle back a bit. Rest in the breath, rising and falling, not just within the body. This is a limited view. So we're going to expand our view today, not just within the body, but within this vast open space all around us. And rather than be fearful then of open space, we see it as the truth of our own true nature. This breath is not limited to this body, this being, this incarnation, not frozen, not stuck, not just fear at all. And if you feel the mind begin to contract into narratives, storylines, believed thoughts, false identities, we simply breathe it out and make contact once again with our true nature, this vast open space. We activate sati, mindfulness, mindful awareness, breath by breath. We're not looking for some other moment, another set of conditions, another sensation, a different thought, a different being. We're resting breath by breath in that which arises within and around us. Our first act of fearlessness. And rather than fear open space, fear the groundlessness of no attachments, no objects to keep, no identities to hold, we simply continue the practice of the out breath. Not needed, not useful. Resting in open space, recognizing the reality of all existence, its arising and passing without fear. the sounds of the birds, the sensations in the body, thoughts about fear, about getting it right or wrong. And we simply allow each to come and go. Not me, not mine, not I. And as we abide in open space, we begin to get that felt sense that there is nothing to hold on to, not outer, where we first make contact, but also not inner, that there is no one I, there is no one Diana, that this too, this perceived egoic I, is also just along with the breath, just like the sounds, simply arising and passing. Nothing to hang on to. This is the beginning of our fear of e- egolessness. There's nothing here to hold. I don't have to present something, I don't have to be something. There's no demand. I simply want to make contact, to be wholly connected and present to the truth of this moment. And then may I be and live and breathe in alignment with this life informing me, this moment, arising to greet life. And once we allow ourselves the permission not to have to be the Diana, the image, the teacher, the mother, the wife, I can simply allow then what is arising to arise. This is another act of fearlessness. And then I'd like you for a moment for the practice to just recollect a mild moment of difficulty. Mine is a conversation with my brother, who I know is not okay. I'm remaining in the out breath. I have to understand that even my view about this is not completely whole, that who I think he is and who I think I am is not solid, not fixed, not permanent. And that I can create space and room for whatever then arises. Once we've cultivated that memory, that experience, we're going to drop beneath into the physical felt sense. We're going to move deeper into the layers of fear and fearlessness. Drop into the body, feel whatever sensations are available there. I'm noticing a tightness in places in the body, a little actual ache or pain arising near the heart. And this very willingness to turn towards is this essential natural bravery of us all. This is the fearlessness that comes with presence, that comes with regard, that comes with gentle care. And if you can, breathe as into it, as close to it as you can. Rest the attention there. We can take the hand and even place the hand there. Breathing in and around and holding fear like this. Distress, anxiety, anger, disappointment, it doesn't matter. These are all names of the same thing. We breathe in, we make contact. We invite that tenderness, that gentle care, and we let be. We hold ourselves in this moment of tenderness. We are the softened warrior that bears no armor, no resistance. Look at the bravery, the courage in this. We soften. We simply let the storyline pass by. And we breathe. We breathe in for ourselves. We make contact. We create open, warm, compassionate, kind, loving space. And we let the rest go. Each breath, each moment anew, fresh. We don't cling to the sensations. We don't cling to the identities. We don't cling to the event, the circumstance, or the conditions, all changing every single breath. We rest in that open space, free of identity, free of ego clinging, nobody to have to be at all, simply awake, loving presence, courageous, tender, softened warrior. Just noticing how the sensations simply come and go. Nothing to hold on to, no identities to shape. Awareness itself, compassion itself, holding it all. And then we eventually recognize that in the coming and going of all things, there is, in fact, the deathless. There is that which exists beyond the things, beyond identity, beyond preference, beyond fear. We abide then simply in the vast open space of our most loving nature. We let go of the method. We let go of the looking. We let go of that which is looked at, simply to abide, peaceful. Free. And in that room, in that felt sense of vast space, we can hold others too. And then the breath simply becomes the easeful, calm, abiding breath of all beings. we rest and abide and open into the pulse of all life. Arising and passing one breath at a time. And then fear simply becomes the gateway to love, to awakening. And may this practice be of benefit. So I had a few quotes, and my printer did a beautiful job of throwing this all on the floor. It was lovely. So Chogyam says, fear is not the enemy. Fear is the path. Fear is the gate to love. as one. Here's Ezra. Fear of open space, fear of ego. Let me see if I can't find. Calls that fear of death. Let's see what he says about this one. Okay, here we go. So Ezra says, fear of losing ground is what Chogyam says, or groundlessness, fear of groundlessness. Ezra says fear of losing control. Just to give you a little perspective on that. This is where we feel when life shifts, the plans failing, the identities falling apart. We can no longer pretend we're in charge. I love this. Beta writes, the need for control is the ego's failed attempt to avoid what it does not want. The need for control is ego's failed attempt to avoid what it does not want. This might feel like anxiety when life takes a turn you didn't plan, getting angry when someone challenges you or your beliefs, clinging to meditation techniques as a way of feeling safe. I wrote that one. Trungpa calls this the beginning of the spiritual journey, this willingness to turn towards the truth. Beta's second point, fear of open space. Ezra calls it fear of facing unwanted feelings. Remember we talked about that? When the ego's control slips, we begin to experience space, not just outer space, but an inner stillness where emotions and sensations can surface and be without vibrational distress. You have to tighten against it, don't you? Can everybody feel the physiology? So in order to get rattled, there has to be something solid, right? Otherwise, what? Simply the wave, simply the flow. You have to grip in order to get jostled. Otherwise, what? Did anybody experience it? Well, just things coming and going. Nothing to bump up against because there is no resistance. And even if there is, it is also just an appearance, right? It's also just an arising and passing. It's not solid either. Resistant moment, then no, right? And letting open to that. What is that? Well, that's temporary, impermanent, not me, not fixed either, right? So then there's no problem. There's no sticky points. Now, could anybody feel that? Nothing. Just whatever it was, it was. Cold is cold. Itchy's itchy. It's not a problem. It's not mine. It's not me. And it's not permanent, says the Buddha. Ezra says, when the ego's control slips, we begin to experience space. When the ego's control slips, we begin to experience space, not just outer space, but that inner stillness. That's what he says. Trungpa says, when there is no reference point, the mind becomes momentarily insecure. Before, it has to abide that first, before it can open into the infinite. Right? So there is a little grip. I think of this a lot like the time of death. Right? This moment where we're all going to go, meh, and then, oh, no problem at all. No problem. We do this in sleep too, don't we? We go, ah. Anybody do that thing? We go, ah, for a minute. And then I was falling. And then, well, and the Buddha says you are falling into the nothingness, into the everythingness of you. right? You're not falling into no thing. You're falling into the nothingness of you, the everythingness of it all. And we're so afraid of it, aren't we? You got to grab something. I got to be something. I got to make something. I got to have something. I got to something. When really, all of it's limited because then we separate ourselves, don't we, from the larger reality of this everythingness of which we are an essential part and cannot be separated until the mind goes me, not you. This, not that. No, then I want over there. This I want. Until we start playing Rubik's Cube, I think, with life. I want that like this, and then I want this, and then I don't want you over here, and then I want it to be Thursday, and then, right. And as we play, we notice there is nothing but distress, and I get it like a heartache, right? Just like that gets me. You know what we're saying? All this control doesn't mean we don't put our pants on, but we have to be careful about what we make of that. Trungpa says there's no reference point. The mind becomes temporarily, momentarily insecure. We panic, and then we fall into remembering. On the fall, as we scream, ah! At some point, you go, oh, anybody ever skydive? There's that moment where like, oh, and then you go, oh, well, now I'm here, and then you become a swan, literally in the air. Like, okay, nothing to do now. And it feels forever. Those number of seconds all become forever. There's nothing to do now. And we are once again remembering who we really are. Beta says we fear our own raw emotions more than anything else. We do everything to stay away from them. The sadness, the shame, the loneliness, we decide is us, and we build a wall. We build the wall called what? Me. The wall of me. That's the wall. The wall is the wall of me, keeping everything out. The fear of egolessness, Beta says. Finally, the deepest fear is the fear of non-existence, of physical death, but the death, not just the physical death, but the death of the self we've built up over a lifetime and don't want to let go of. You spent 80, 70, 50 years constructing. Who wants to have the mallet come after that? It's not so much death we fear, but the possibility that we never, this really hits me, truly lived.
Life is what's happening, regardless of the fact that I don't want it to be happening.
That's right. And we mostly don't want it to be happening because we're trying to protect something, some amazingly delusional, false sense of ourselves. This is where it goes silly. We get silly, right? I'm just trying to hold up an image. It isn't even real. It's not even who I really am. With all the clutching, clawing, organizing. And again, I don't think any of those things in our relative life are bad. I don't mean to imply this. I don't want us to get stupid and go, well, then nothing matters. That's not true. We're going to come up with money to feed these folks, aren't we? Yes, we are. Don't do that. It's the other side. It's just a second type of stupid. Is to believe we're everything and to believe we're nothing. Dumb all the way around, says my Chicago carpenter lineage. Dumb all the way around. And so if we don't grab this and we don't grab that, then who, what, when, where, how are we? Well, then we're open, it says. Then we're calm. then we're simply arising. Then we just greet the moment and whatever is in it. And we offer whatever we have. And Joko says that it's always perfect. And so do I. And then it's perfect. And it might just be that drink for that woman we talked about on Tuesday. That's it. I didn't save a whole anything. Okay. Fearlessness is the final point, equals softness plus presence. Each time we meet fear with presence, we become more free. Each time we meet discomfort with honesty, the ego dissolves a little more. And each time we meet death with love, we are reborn into love. Is it true? Isn't it? It's always true. And you feel it too. You know it too. You feel the energy of that. Nothing to run from, nothing to hide, nothing to resist, right? Completely available, open, and free. The 3 fears. I will send the article. Ezra does a great job with that. And so, what do we know? What do we know? We all know it. See, it isn't like, there's not enough words, is there, for the truth of it. And we know when we're something else, too, don't we? We know fear, and it is a part of the path to know it intimately, to know it completely, to greet it really fearlessly, to keep turning towards it. We don't have to get rid of anything. In fact, it's a lie, isn't it? It's a simple lie. You cannot know the path to presence as long as you're trying to keep everything at bay. Present to what? Anybody else with thoughts about this? Courtney was here. She wrote, no control. Isn't it true? Our capacities are bigger, aren't they, than that? Our capacity is bigger than control. It's actually participate. It's different.
I wanted to share one thing. When my kind of thought process of holding this fear and being with that space, that the space that's holding it is just the never ending limitless love that holds us all. And it's something that I just kind of remembered from the journey that I did, almost 2 years ago now. But that really is the reality of what that limited space is that it's love. And the walls and the ego that are holding us from that, it's kind of funny, right? It's almost counterintuitive because that space is the reality of what life is itself.
And you,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
It's not over there. It's right here in you. You are that same limitless, infinite, spacious, what'd you say? Love?
Yes.
Yeah. And then we forget and go, what's over there? Or I had a second of it, it's not true. It's simply not true. It is love, and love is you. And then how do we practice, Courtney?
Remembering again and again and forgetting and remembering.
Every moment. Because we already know the truth. The moment you turn towards fear, it is no longer fear. It is fearlessness. The very second you went, I'm not going the other way this time. I'm just going to sit in it. I'm going to cry. I'm going to beat my chest. I'm going to grit my teeth, said the Buddha. By the way, these are his phrases. And it's all perfect. because whatever else I'm not doing the same old thing, the same old habit, the same old denial, avoidance, resistance, or looking some other way. Right? And that's love. Because look what it takes to let oneself be that. Really. It's big news, isn't it? Big, big deal. To let oneself cry instead of scream. Wow. I was using my brother as an example on Tuesday. My brother is a dope, and I mean that in the most loving way. And I got mad at him because he was such a dope. And then I thought, if I wasn't mad at him, how would I feel? And then I cried. And then I cried because I know he's hurting. I know he's pained. And his pain is my pain. Right? And then I could finally act. Finally, I could say, I'm scared. I'm afraid. And I'm here. All true. And had I tried to say anything else, I promise you, would not have gone well. Now, one more thing. Not if only you woulda, or did you realize what a dope you were there, or if you could have only, and all the stuff we could do instead of just going, I'm scared. I'm scared. I think you're doing some damage, and it's coming from some damage, and I just want you to know I care about that, and I care about you. And instead of instruct him, my habit, I'm going to tell you the 25 things you could be doing different here, or instead of getting mad at him and telling him what a dope he was, I called my family and I said, we're going to love bomb him. We're just going to love bomb this guy. And everybody's going to call him once a week, and you're going to be you love bombing him in whatever way you know how. And so my mother called and said, it'd be a good idea if he just took a bike ride or maybe a little walk or something like that. It'd be good. And he said, probably would be. And you have the beautiful park there. That'd be nice too. Yay. And he said, yeah, that's probably right. And Libby said, you may want to join the Humane Society because you love animals and they love you. Yeah, he could hear that too. Right?
The trick is not being attached when he doesn't.
When he does or doesn't anything.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not even relevant, is it? It isn't even slightly the point. It's what we do. I'm not saying, I don't even know what would work mean. I don't even know the outcome. I don't even know. I just know we love him. I want him to know we love him. And he finally said something to my husband the other day, because my husband did the mail thing, like, are these folks bugging you? Is this like, is this annoying to you? Because it would be to me. Does anybody need this much contact? I mean, really? It doesn't seem like a good idea to me. I don't know. It was her idea. I think it's stupid. And my brother so boldly said, no, it's good. It's good. No, it's okay. They can call me. Because we all need this, really. Even if we lie about it and go, rah, 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 rah. Right? So this is where we also get fearless then, don't we? We get fearless in response. We go, I don't care if he likes it. I don't care if he agrees with me. I don't care if anything changes. I will know at least I have offered what I could, which is the love I have for him. In the way I can offer it, in a way I think he could potentially tolerate it. And then he does or he doesn't. But then what? Well, more info, more opportunity, more possibility. Going, okay, not that way. That's not going to, right? He's not feeling it through there. Well, then just more wisdom. Isn't it? So there's nothing to be afraid of. Fail well. Fail well. Right? Go in there. Go in. Whatever you're doing will be better than if you didn't. wouldn't it? Whatever you do. So be watchful of this idea that, right? Then the thing happens, or then you understand, or then you become loving back, because that will never work, in fact, because it's simply egoic. I want something. Greg talked about it the other day. I just want you to be nice to me, please. And so I'll do this, but then the deal is you play the next card. And it should be in the same suit, by the way, because I like that game. Hearts to hearts. No, not giving you anything. Right? And does it mean anything? Not really, does it? Not really. It doesn't even mean anything when the person fires it back at you. Not necessarily. It may mean this is scary. I don't know how to open to love right now like this. And so I'm going to do whatever the thing I do. You want to get up there? Right. Do we get this idea?
You offer a great example because I find it so much easier to do these principles with other people, but it's much, much harder with family. For whatever reason, it just pushes the button. No other, I'll catch myself, and I'm like, wait a minute.
That's right.
They
It's
don't
like
have
there's
the
two
boundaries.
universes.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. We are so intimately connected. And the pain we're going to feel and the fear we're going to feel is so much larger because of it. Strangers are easier, aren't they?
Well, even friends, outside world. I
Yeah.
find it so much easier, but immediate family.
Yeah.
Family, it's like, whew.
Yeah. It's where our hearts really break.
And to that point to ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the hardest. Like that's
To offer it to ourselves is the impossible. And it is, in fact, the beginning and the end practice. The beginning and the end. We might even say the middle. We just offer it to others as our, what did Jesus say? The disguised self. Right? We're just practicing. But it is no different. It is always you who is really receiving it, isn't it? Always. And we forget because we've attached to something out there. And then it'll go like this, or then they'll like me more, or then they'll be shut up at least, or do whatever.
Well, I gotta share. I went to my son's 35th to see him and give him a birthday card, and saw him. He was doing a keyboard, but he opened the door to his bedroom, looked at me. He said, "You're not welcome. Get out of here." And so that was it. He wouldn't take the card, so I just left.
Perfect, isn't it? Because at least we're in an interaction. At least he knows you were there. At least he knows you're trying to care for him. Obviously, what would be the point of it? And so we continue, just like that, don't we? We continue. And so maybe you're standing at the curb flinging them, cards at the door. I don't know. Maybe you're leaving that peach. Maybe you're simply texting, "I care," until you get blocked. Right. This is not the point. See, that is not the evidence. The evidence is I know my own open heart is breaking open for and with someone. And so you continue. Right? And I don't know if we ever get what we really wanted, at least not from the ego's point of view. Ego is never satisfied. It wouldn't matter what happened, would it? According to ego. You can't get enough. They can't love you enough. More. And so even if you took the card, then you go, ooh, taking the card. Maybe now I could bring the thing and then it'll let me in. And then you get in and you go, ooh, this is good. Maybe now we can actually sit on the couch. That's ego. But the non-egoic self, the one that is connected to all things, goes, I know your pain. I know the shutdown. I know what shutdown always is. It's only one thing. Because if you truly didn't matter, there'd be nothing to shut down to. Would there? Nothing. You go, well, I don't care. You're here, you're not here. Doesn't matter to me. You're invisible. So we just know pain is there. And how do we respond to pain? ours and others, with compassion, right? You feel for him and for that in you that is also in pain. And then for others who also know this too. And now it's a perfect practice. And maybe we could even put ourselves in front of it more. I'm going to keep trying in the way I do, not to get something, but to give something. If it's not a card, I don't know. It's okay. Don't go in thinking you can fix anything. Oh, that's for sure. Thinking is the operative word, says Carrie. Leslie says, it's often easier for me to be with my own pain and fears than to be with dear close family members' pain and fears. I want to change it, get rid of it, yes, for the other person. I don't feel this for myself so much. It's much easier for me to feel my own suffering than theirs. Then know your suffering, Leslie, is theirs. No difference at all. Their suffering is your suffering. Your suffering is their suffering. It's the same suffering. So there's nothing more or less in it. That's the suffering. So if you can open to yours, you can open to theirs. It isn't larger. This is one of our myths. It's the same. That breaking heart is the breaking heart, already connected to every breaking heart. And we get analytical, or there's a word for this. It's kind of analog is coming to mind, but it's not what I mean.
You compartmentalize.
Yeah. And separate, really, don't we? We go, well, if I can hold this, but I can't hold that. How is it? If it's all connected and you're now in contact with your pain, what is it that you thinks it can't hold your pain? Same pain. What do? We have to separate first into mine and yours, and then we amplify, magnify, and go, oh, I can do this, but I can't do this and this, because that's bigger, more. No, it isn't. It's the same, says the Buddha. Pain is pain. Fear is fear. There's not more of it. It is here, and we might need to open more fully to it, is also true, right? Because I can manage this. I've got a way of managing. I like to think of it that way. Don't we manage? I can manage this pain, but when I really open to you, I'm going to break open, especially when it's a child, when it's a parent, right? When it's family, I'm going to break open into this. I am not going to be able to just manage like I have a preference for doing. And then we break it, it breaks open. And we cry. Or we hurt, or we get scared, or we do whatever the thing is that we do. I feel their pain more as suffering. I may be too empathic. It's not possible. I don't suffer so much with my own pain. Keep in mind that they're the same, Leslie.
Just stuffing it.
Yeah. I feel their pain more as suffering. Pain is pain. Suffering is what else we're doing with it, and we don't control that, do we? I can't control what Dennis's son does with his pain. He slams the door on it. It's not Dennis, in fact, at all. He's slamming the door on his own pain. Can we know this?
And wouldn't it also be like a false compassion? Because unless you feel your own pain, you're really not feeling compassion for the other person.
That's right. And it is the response to pain that compassion is. The suffering is the suffering. Remember, we talk about that as the defenses, the door slamming, the I want you to be nice to me that we're all doing. And that's not ours. Ours is, can I be totally open-hearted with the truth of this pain, this loss, this grief, this disappointment? And yes, could I see I responding to my brother's suffering as he was just being a dope there. As we all are, by the way. I'm not talking about my brother. Like anything I can do to get away from it, I'm going to shut everything down to that. And who am I really talking to? Myself. right? Like, wow, there that is. Just don't feel this. Don't make contact with that. And then what can I do? I can open to him and me. And it's the same, right? So be watchful of this volume error delusion that there's X amount and I could do this amount, but I can't do that amount. It's false. It's just thinking. It's not true. Pain is pain, and pain hurts, right? And we'd all prefer, given our egoic natures, not to feel it. And there's no problem so far. It's when we buy in that we get the problem. Like, if only you could be different, then I wouldn't be in pain. This is actually also not true, is it? If only you wouldn't be a dope, that's where I started with my brother momentarily. If you wouldn't be a dope, I wouldn't have to be in this pain. This is not accurate. This pain is mine. There's nothing he could do to make it. Neither is he responsible for getting rid of it. It's not his, it's mine.
And we're all dopes. right?
We're all dopes.
All the time.
We are all dopes all the time. And I can lovingly feel that. And I do. We're lovingly dopes all the time. And if I can hold my own dopiness, I can hold yours. And if I can't, we're all in trouble. Aren't we now? Officially. All right, we're already at 9:03. We're going to say our prayer. I'm going to send out the article. I'm going to send this practice. I'm going to send some of the quotes. Yeah, I think this is a really nice practice and really nice understanding of the practice. And so here's one of the things you don't want to do. You don't want to put your hands together with your brother. And you don't want to go into, may I be a guard for those who need protection. You don't want to do that. That would be a really stupid thing to do. You might do it silently. You might open your heart to the truth of it. But again, wisdom is always skillful, right? He can't open to that. This isn't going to make sense. He's not going to get on medication. He's not going to go to counseling. He's not going to do any of the brilliant ideas I have about how he might manage this. And I can love him. I can, and I can love him exactly the way he can receive that love. Why? Because I'm not stuck in it's got to look like this and you got to be like that and then we got to do it this way. Okay, so we say that prayer for us, just as our remembering. It doesn't mean the other can hear it that way at all. And so we don't delude ourselves into going, if I could only pray this, then it would all be better. No, forget it. You pray it and then you figure out how to live it. That'll work every time. And so we do. May I be a guard for those who need protection, a guide for those on the path, a boat, a raft, a bridge, for those who wish to cross the flood. May I be a lamp in the darkness, a resting place for the weary, a healing medicine for all who are sick, a vase of plenty, a tree of miracles. And for the boundless multitudes of living beings, may I bring sustenance and awakening, enduring like the earth and the sky, until all beings are freed from sorrow and all are awakened. May we all have happiness and the causes for happiness. May we be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May we recollect and remember our good fortune and who we really are and offer ourselves as freely as we can to the end of suffering. May we rest and dwell in the vast open space of wisdom, of love and compassion, until all beings are free from sorrow and awakened. May we place our hands on our own hearts, remembering they are the hearts of the whole of this life on earth. May we never separate ourselves or perceive the other as other. May we know our own pain is the pain of all beings, with this infinite capacity to end suffering. And may we begin now and now. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for sticking on for a few minutes. You're so welcome. May we, if you haven't made a contribution and you want to, let somebody know so that we can get the, I have to do that still today. So I'm on the list of those who have yet to make my contribution. Yes. Yeah. Philabelly. Sign up now for Philabelly. We have 2 weeks at Plus. Not this Thursday, next Thursday, but we need foods and servers.
We need everything.
We need everybody's. We've all been busy. Summer's starting to happen. We're all a little distracted by travel, by friends, by graduations, by that. And we just wake up a little bit. We need your help. We do not have some of our normal contributors who are traveling and not here, so we need you to help us. If you cannot be a server that day, but can bring food items, still get a hold of Lynn, and I will write Lynn's a phone number here, 858 Lynn, what is it? 858 245
1478.
1478. Okay, thank you all. Good to see you.
We're carrying Jamie in this thing.
Yes. All right, I think I got everybody here. All right, everyone. So we want to remember a key few points. One is fear, turning towards fear means we will have to confront it. That does mean it doesn't feel good. Can we turn a little towards, take a few breaths, know that this is not who we are, that this is not the whole of things, that it will come and go, and remember to hang on to ourselves. I would say that'll be beautiful practice for us this week. All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for those donations. Yes, the website. Let me put that there too. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you all. I know I'm keeping the people in their seats. I apologize. There is also a little summer mindfulness course, a 4-week mindfulness course starting in 2 Fridays. I will put out another little piece for that. 10:30 on Fridays. It's going to be in the garden, and it's just short. So anybody who might benefit.
You try to look at me.
No, I don't. I'm not just talking to you. Anybody who might benefit, please join us. Let me know. Be well, everyone.